And last question on your war experience, your military experience. What lessons did you learn from this time in your life?
How to run. uh, well, there's three things I learned. Know your buddies around you, especially the Marines. We all had become more or less a very close-knit family. Because if you're not, you don't know what the other guy's doing. That means that's the end of you. Because you had to work as a team. If you weren't a team, goodbye. You were gone. And like for instance, I finally got an AK-47, which was the best automatic weapon there was during the Korean conflict. Back way after the Korean conflict. It was a Russian burp gun, fully automatic. And nothing in any of the armies came anywhere close to it. And you could drop it in mud, slush it off in the stream, let the water run out of the barrel, and it was ready to fire again. Try that with anything the Americans had. Nothing. You'd jam up every one of them. M15, M16, the bar, any of them weren't worth a darn. So you had to let all your buddies know that you had an AK-47 because it had its own sound to it. It was entirely different from anything the Americans had. That was one thing. And I don't know, you just got so that you didn't know the value of the human life either. And I think that affected me more than anything else. And they talk about fellas that gone through mental anguish and all. I finally got married in 1959. I got out of the service. 59? Yeah, 59. Got out of the service in 54. That was 5 years later. And I'd still scream at night. Wake up and just scream. And our second night after we got married, I had one of those attacks. Scared the bejesus out of my first wife. She wanted to call up her brother and come get us. That was bad news. She finally got used to that. She didn't get used to it, but she knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the only thing I can say, nothing is ever accomplished in a war as far as I'm concerned. Even World War I and World War II basically were political wars too. It went a little bit further than that because you had fanatical people such as the Germans and the Japanese. They were completely fanatical. They didn't realize what it meant to be a human being. They were so brainwashed, it was unbelievable. But thank Christ that this Anglo-Saxons never got that bad. I should say it's English, I guess. And even the Italians weren't never that bad. You could reason with them and so on. The Germans you could reason a little bit, but the Japanese you couldn't. But yet, when I went to Japan the first time in 1952. Yeah. And they were very nice people. But we've been occupying them since 45. So that gave them 7 years. And really, the person who became their hero was MacArthur, believe it or not. I took the pictures of MacArthur when President Truman sacked him, when they took away his job. And the Japanese people were actually crying to see him going because they considered him as their next Hirohito. But he treated them as human beings, not as subservient. And they really, really dug that. So they were beginning to come around. But the people I met were very, very nice people. But again, I had no direct relations to them during World War II, so I didn't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But what I saw after World War II, I was very impressed with the people.
And you said you took the pictures? You were there with...
Oh, I took a lot of pictures.
With MacArthur?
Yes, I took pictures of him in GHQ when they sacked him. GHQ was in Yokohama.
Okay.
At the time.
I named my son for Douglas MacArthur.
Yeah.
That's whose name.
Is that right?
Yeah, see, GHQ, that means General Headquarters.
Oh, okay.
If you didn't know. He
Okay.
was in charge of the whole command over there.
All right.
The day he was born was the day that MacArthur was called back,
Oh, really?
April the 11th.
Oh,
Wow.
Truman was absolutely right, because MacArthur wanted to use the atomic bomb on China. That would have really opened up the ball. Remember, the Russians that time had the atomic bomb.
Yep.
China did not. But oh boy, that would have started the old ball rolling. So, old Harry done the right thing. Next question, sir.
All right, we'll segue into post-war, and you're coming to the West Coast, settled on the West Coast,
Yeah,
and we can walk through that. Does that make sense?
yeah, well, I got out of the service. And remember, I was pretty salty, though. We just came from overseas. And I also went through I've done a lot of the pictures at the peace talks at Pobung John, if you remember that.
Okay, yeah.
And a lot of stories about that. But that's another story. But anyway, I got out, and Treasure Island, there was 4 of us. 3 of us made it through the gate. 4th guy decked the guy onto the gate and got thrown back in the brig. But anyway, we got a taxi, took us over the Bay Bridge, and we had him stop in the middle of the bridge. We took our sea bags over the side. We had enough of this military. And I had the GI Bill, and I started back to City College, then UCLA. But I was nowhere ready to start studying in college. I was the bark at the moon. In fact, I joined AAA because I never carried water in my water canteen. That was strictly booze.
When you were in the war.
Yeah, that's the only thing that got me through. I couldn't have took it otherwise. I was half smashed half the time. Hope not too many people see that one.
Well, we're going to blackmail you, so it doesn't matter.
But I don't know. You cannot have any feelings or any of that. If you do have feelings, you're going to go off your rocker. And the only thing that saved me from not going off my rocker, whatever that meant, Jane says I'm pretty well out there anyway. But anyway,
You're just ready to jump.
the only thing that kept me going was booze. So when I got out of the service, believe it or not, I had to go to AAA to get dried out. And therefore, I was not ready to go back to college.
Was that good? Did AA help you?
Yeah. In fact, I taught the course towards the end. The other guys in there. But you had to, one thing about that, you had to just about hit bottom. Then you can work your way up. But if you're playing games with yourself, not being honest, you're wasting your time. You had to finally admit, yeah, you're a drunk, and work your way on up. Once you admit that, and you believe it within yourself that you are, then you can be helped. But until then, you're wasting everybody's time. At least that's the way I reacted to it anyway. I was ready, because I knew I wasn't being myself. Well, I was, because I looked for a drink. When I got out of City College, we headed for a bar. I think the one thing that really scared me, really started me to sober up, that guy who was sitting at the bar gave me a rough time. And I broke his arm just like that because of my combat training. And the judge, I went before the judge. The judge said, you know, you got two things to do here. Stay the way you are, and you're going to end up in the jug, unless you can start straightening yourself out. And baby, I started to straighten myself out.
So is that the turning point right there?
Yes. I would say that was the main place. In fact, I went back and thanked the judge. That was about a year and a half later. But he was a pretty fair guy. Because they got to really throw the book at me on that one. But,
So you